our first look at the Leeds of old takes us back more than 100 years to the turn of the 19th century. During the 19th century, Leeds had been transformed from a small market town to a bustling manufacturing city. People had flocked here from far and wide looking for work in the burgeoning factories, and a population that had stood at 30,000 at the start of the century, by 1900 had increased almost sixfold to 178,000. The huge challenge of housing the masses was met by property speculators who built terraces of cheap back-to-back houses with no proper drainage or sanitation. A report published in 1850 paints a graphic picture of the conditions that prevailed in the working-class areas. By far the most unhealthy localities of Leeds are close squares of houses which have been erected for the accommodation of working people. Some of these are airless from the enclosed structure, and being wholly unprovided with any form of under-drainage or convenience, are one mass of damp and filth. The ashes, garbage, and filth of all kinds are thrown from the doors and windows of the houses upon the surface of the streets and courts. The privies are few in proportion to the inhabitants. They are open to view, both in front and rear, are invariably in a filthy condition, and often remain without removal of the filth for 6 months. In 1832, during the cholera epidemic, 75 cartloads of soil were removed from one of the privies in the boot and shoe yard. The council began to build sewers in 1850, and in 1899 it was made compulsory for dwellings to be connected to the system. Gradually, life in the slums of Leeds began to improve. Meanwhile, as this remarkable film shows, Briggate had emerged as the bustling heart of the Victorian city. Passengers board a horse-drawn omnibus bound for the growing suburbs. Pedestrians throng the footpaths. Horse-drawn delivery wagons supply the numerous shops. Hansom cabs await their next fare. And one of those newfangled electric trams trundles along the road. The first electric trams had appeared in 1894, 4 years before this film was taken, and by 1901 they had taken over completely from the horse buses.
The British Empire had grown all-powerful on the output of industrial cities like Leeds, but decades of unprecedented growth stuttered to a halt in the 1920s. The First World War had permanently eroded Britain's trading position in world markets through disruptions to trade and loss of shipping. Overseas customers for British products were lost, especially for traditional exports such as textiles, steel, and coal. The effect on industrial areas like Leeds was disastrous. Unemployment soared, wages fell, and poverty took hold. In May 1926, things reached a head when mine owners proposed to reduce the wages and increase the hours of miners. The TUC called the first ever general strike, and Britain was plunged into chaos.